Hey everyone, good evening. Welcome to yet another guided newspaper class. We organize these classes thrice a week, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 6 p.m. on YouTube. Now, the aim of these classes is to help you improve your fundamentals, as in your listening skills, your reading skills, your vocabulary, and also your speaking skills, because we ask you to repeat the content after us such that you are able to understand how pronunciation should be handled in the speaking section. Now, if you are watching me, please give me a hi on the chat box so that I know you're here and I can get started with the class. Okay. So as usual, the classes agenda will remain the same. I will read the article here and you will listen to me initially for some period of time, and then we will do some guided reading, as in I will help you understand the article a little more in detail, and then we will do guided speaking where you will repeat the content after me. Okay, and in the end, we will write down sentences with whatever you have as the opinion. We'll make sure that we ask you to write sentences, right? Okay. So this article is very interesting. It is about the declining camel population in the state of Rajasthan. Okay, and so they are trying to here address this problem, and this article is about how the state is trying to do this. Okay, so for the initial portion of the class, you are going to just listen to me, and I will then repeat the article for you very slowly. Okay, so just follow my cue and then just try following where these words are located. That will help you improve your reading speed. Okay, let's get started with the class then. Desperate efforts are on in Rajasthan to arrest the sharp decline in population of its state animal, the camel. Last month, a cabinet subcommittee made recommendations to end what Arushi Malik, Special Secretary Animal Husbandry, called a sort of inspector and permit Raj brought on by the Rajasthan Camel Act 2015, which had linked the trade, transport, and deaths of camel to their slaughter and criminal prosecution. In a knee jerk reaction, the BJP government had given holy cow status to the camel, blaming its slaughter for meat as the sole reason for decline in population over the years. The Ashok Gehlot government is relaxing the provisions of the Camel Act and has roped in the National Research Center on Camels, Bikaner, in a bid to reverse the decline. The subcommittee had suggested half a dozen amendments, including punishment restrictions only for slaughter and allowing transport for sale. The Camel Act had led to a dramatic fall in camel trade at the various cattle fairs. The NRCC itself is witness to this. In 2014, all its 40 camels on auction attracted buyers, and the average price was around rupees 30,000. By 2018, 30 of the 50 desert ungulates on offer had no buyers, and in 2019, 22 of the 30 remained unsold. The average price has dropped to 3,500 rupees. The lowest quote was at rupees 2,000. At the Pushkar Camel Fair, the number of camels had sold had fallen from 2,000 in 2016 to 800 in 2018. Hanwant Singh Rathore, director of Sadri-based Lokit Pashupalak Sansthan, which had been working on camel conservation for many years, says even a decade ago, a good camel would fetch over rupees 70,000. Yearlings sometimes went for rupees 15,000. Okay. The dropping numbers are because the National Bureau of Animal Genetic Resources lists 9 dromedary breeds of camel of India originated in Rajasthan. The Mewati can be seen in both Rajasthan and Haryana. The Kachi and the Kharai are Gujarati, and the Malvi belongs to Madhya Pradesh. India also has a small population of double humped Bactrian camel found mostly in the Nubra Valley in Ladakh. Okay, a very interesting article, this one. I found this, a little different from what we're seeing otherwise, and hence I thought I will pick this article. So let me know on the chat box if you understood what the article was, and I hope you were able to follow me as I read it. Yeah, please give me a yes on the live chat. Okay, okay, great. Don't hesitate to respond, because that's how you learn, and it's not that responding or not responding changes anything. So just try and be as active and take away as much as possible from this class. Okay. Okay, good. So now what we're doing is this, okay? We will read the article a little more in detail, and I'll help you understand sentences by sentence. I'll just help you understand the key sentences here. That's how it's going to go. And then we will do some guided speaking. Okay, here you go. Desperate efforts. Desperate, something that's done in order to drive something very forcefully, right? That's desperate efforts are on, as in are happening in Rajasthan to arrest the sharp decline. Arrest is to bring down, reduce, curb, restrict the sharp decline. Sharp decline, something that is very, very high in quantity. Okay, sharp decline in population of its state animal, the camel. Last month, the cabinet subcommittee made recommendations to end what Arushi Malik called a sort of inspector and permit Raj brought on by Rajasthan Camel Act. Now, this particular committee here, cabinet subcommittee, made recommendations to what this person also wanted. Arushi Malik also wanted that. Okay. Now, this particular act had kind of brought on this sort of inspector and permitraj, as in it permitted to do anything with camel, which had linked trade, transport, and deaths of camel to their slaughter and criminal prosecution. So this particular act is kind of linked to how camels are traded, how camels are used to transport different goods, and how deaths of camels are happening because of this particular act. So this particular committee, along with this person, wants to end this act altogether, as in wants to bring changes to the act actually. Now, moving ahead, in a knee jerk reaction. What is a knee jerk reaction? Anything that's immediate. That's knee jerk. So I'm sure you know what a knee jerk reflex means. Whenever someone hits you at the knee, imagine a small tool or something, and they hit you at the knee. Your leg gives immediate reaction. That's called knee jerk. And that's how doctors check if your reflexes are fine, as in your brain is working fine or not, right? So that way, this is an idiomatic phrase that explains knee jerk reaction. Okay, immediate reaction. The BJP government had given holy cow status to the camel, blaming its slaughter. Okay, slaughter means killing, cutting it down for meat as the sole reason for decline in population over the years. So this particular government, led by I don't know who, but this particular government gave this holy cow status to the camel, saying that this camel is holy. Any camel is considered holy or divine, and killing it is the only reason why we saw a decline in the population, right? So that's why they're kind of giving reasons as to why exactly camel population declined. Moving ahead, the Ashok Gehlot government is relaxing the provisions of the Camel Act and has roped in NRCC in a bid to reverse the decline. So they're kind of doing both. So they're kind of relaxing the provisions of the Camel Act, as in they want to change whatever this act had: trading, transporting, slaughtering, and all of that. They're changing that, and they want to reverse the decline. They want to bring up the numbers of camel here. Okay. The subcommittee, same subcommittee that we talked about here, The subcommittee has suggested half a dozen amendments. What is an amendment? Anything that is a change. That is an amendment, including punishment, restrictions only for slaughter, and allowing transport for sale. So it made a few changes here, including punishment and restrictions. So you will be punished if you are killing and allowing this camel to be used for transporting for sale. That's what the changes happened, right? Moving ahead, the Camel Act has led to a sharp fall. Okay, um, very high in quantity again. Something that's unimaginable. That's dramatic in camel trade at the various cattle fairs. I'm sure you know what cattle fairs are, where you can sell cattle. Cattle is considered those animals that give you food. Okay, basically cow, buffalo, goat, camel is also considered cattle. Okay, okay. The NRCC is itself a witness to this. Witness, anybody who is considered to have seen something, have observed something. That's a witness. In 2014, all its 40 camels on auction. Auction is where you place a bid and someone else also places a bid, and you are given the money, or you're given the not the money, you're given the object based on whatever price you have bid, right? That's how it is. So on auction attracted buyers and the average price was 30,000. So this is what happened in 2014, that every camel was sold at an average price of 30,000. But take a look at this. By 2018, 30 of the 50 desert ungulates on offer had no buyers. In 2019, 22 of 30 remained unsold. So, this is what happened at the end of 2019. Only 8 were sold and remaining remained unsold. The average price has dropped to 3,500 and the lowest quote was 2,000. So look at the change that has happened since 2014. This is because this particular Camel Act has changed. You can't use it for transport, you can't use it for sale, you can't kill it. All of that is happening, which is why the price dropped. And at this particular fair, the number of camels sold had fallen from 2,000 4 years ago to 800 in 2018. Look at the drop, right? Now, this guy, Hanwant Singh Rathore, and this particular Sansthan, which had been working to protect animals, says that even a decade ago, as in 10 years before 2021, a good camel could fetch over rupees 70,000. That was the case. But look at now. Yearlings sometimes went for 15,000. Yearlings, I mean, again, I think they mean that small camels that were just very, very young, they went for about 15,000. Okay, young ones, basically, young camels went for 15,000. Look at the amount of change that has happened in price, right? And moving ahead, so this particular National Bureau of lists 9 breeds of camel in India, and this is just a description of the different types of camels that are there. One particular camel is seen in both Rajasthan and Haryana. One is seen in Gujarat, and the other one is seen in Madhya Pradesh. There's also one that's seen in Ladakh. Now, that's how different species of camels have been identified by the National Bureau. Okay. So, was this article clear now, Nagendra and Dheeraj? Yes. Okay. I'm happy that you guys are following and you're also able to understand. Yeah. Okay. All right. Wonderful. Good evening, Suraj. I hope that you understood and paid attention to the article. What we're going to do now is some guided speaking, as in, you're going to repeat after me with the same kind of stresses and pauses. Okay? right? So let's move ahead and we'll just do this paragraph right now. Great, Dheeraj, good, very good in following the entire article. Just try and repeat after me with the same kind of stresses in speaking. Okay. Now, why is this very important? Why do you have to repeat the same way that I am doing? The point here is to make sure you get a good score in your speaking test. And in your IELTS speaking test, it's not just about pronouncing words correctly, it's also about using these stresses and using emotions while you speak. That's also important, okay? Which is why I'm asking you to repeat after me. So let's kind of get started and let's read this article aloud, and you will just try and repeat after me with the same kind of stresses, okay? Let's go ahead. Desperate efforts are on in Rajasthan to arrest the sharp decline in population of its state animal, the camel. Okay. Last month, a cabinet subcommittee made recommendations to end what Arushi Malik, Special Secretary, Animal Husbandry, called a sort of inspector and permit Raj, brought on by the Rajasthan Camel Act 2015, which had linked the trade, transport, and deaths of camels to their slaughter and criminal prosecution. Okay. In a knee jerk reaction, the then BJP government had given holy cow status to the camel, blaming its slaughter for meat as the sole reason for the decline in population over the years. Read this continuously. The Ashok Gehlot government is relaxing the provisions of the Camel Act and has roped in the National Research Center on Camels. Roped in, involve someone, okay? Invite someone to be involved. That's what roped in means, okay? And has roped in the National Research Center on Camels, Bikaner, in a bid to reverse the decline. The subcommittee has suggested half a dozen amendments, including punishments, restrictions only for slaughter, and allowing transport for sale. Okay. Okay, moving ahead. The center has led to a dramatic fall in camel trade at the various cattle fairs. The NRCC itself is witness to this. Moving ahead, in 2014, all of its 40 camels on auction attracted buyers, and the average price was around 30,000 rupees. By 2018, 30 of the 50 desert ungulates on offer had no buyers, and in 2019, 22 of the 30 remained unsold. The average price has dropped to 3,500 rupees. The lowest quote was 2,000 rupees. At the Pushkar Camel Fair, the number of camels sold had fallen from 2,000 in 2016 to 800 by 2018. Hanwant Singh Rathore says even a decade ago, I'm moving on to this sentence, says even a decade ago, a good camel could fetch over 70,000 rupees. Yearlings sometimes went for INR 15,000. Okay. So did you do it along with me? Did you do the guided practice, speaking practice along with me? I hope you did it with the same kind of stresses and you paused at places as well. If not, pick this video again, do it, mute the video, do it again, and then watch the video again to understand how this should be done. Okay? Okay, great. So I want you now to write down some sentences. Now, what you're going to write down exactly is, does your country care about species that are endangered? Okay, what is endangered? Anything that's not being seen, rare. Does your country care about animal species that are endangered? Okay, now I am putting this question on the chat box. Instead of just giving me a yes or a no, please give a full sentence and try using a good complex structure instead of just writing a simple one. Okay, so I've given you more lessons to watch on grammar, on reading, on writing. Just try keep watching them regularly and also make sure you improve in your writing and speaking skills along with listening and reading skills. Okay, because how you apply is equally important as to how you understand. Okay, right. So that brings us to the end of this guided newspaper class. I'm going to leave that question open for all the others who are watching this as a recording to answer. In case you're someone who wants to be a part of our advanced programs, you can fill up the admissions form that's there in the description of this video, and we will call you and explain to you about these programs, right? But if you don't want to, you just want to get access to all the free lessons, just keep tracking me here or on Instagram. The links to those channels as well is given right here. Okay. Thank you. Thank you, Suraj, and also thank you everyone else who joined in. Just make sure you watch the recording. If you have to leave the class, Suraj, there is no problem. I'll see you in another class on Wednesday. Hopefully, until then, make sure you don't let the practice go and stay safe. Bye bye.